Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 187 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of February the 15th through the 21st, 2021. My name is Tim Beeman.
I'm Ray Morgan.
We're opening the recipe box. We're recording this episode of The Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studio South, aka my house. We are practicing social distancing using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern here in Winston. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, or anything like that, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, and a rating. It would help us tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, then welcome and thank you for listening. This episode of The Man Who Ate the Town is brought to you by Carrabba's Italian Grill, located at 587 South Stratford Road. I can promise you this is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. It's in their charter even. And for us, having Daniel Butner as a franchisee, certainly, or a proprietario, certainly does not suck. And have you tried the sausage and lentil soup? If not, you need to really try that because, man, that's good stuff. And don't forget about their desserts, too. And their wine list is amazing. Follow Carrabba's on social media and go visit them at carrabbas.com. And you can have delivery from Carrabba's as well. So if you're still not ready to be inside, or it's just not time for you to be inside or what, you can get it to go. Or they can get it.
Don't let that stop you.
Get it to brought to you. Yeah, do that. For the second straight week, we have a community passing. Over the past several years, excuse me, over the past several years that I've been doing this podcast and even this food blog, which goes back longer than the podcast, I've been covering places that were either owned by, housed by, or supported by Mike Coe. Mike owned the buildings where SIBO is now, where King Classic Bakery is now. He owns the building where Salem Organic Supply and Senor Bravo are downtown. He owns the Artist on Liberty Street building, which houses 3-Layer Cakery, and the building that houses Liberty Art Cafe. And he also owns that coffee shop as well. Mike was a big supporter of the Arts District, the artists that occupied the district, the restaurants in town, and the town in general. And Mike passed away last Wednesday. He had a heart attack and died almost immediately. So to Mike, his family, his wife, Patricia, his tenants, his employees, this community, our heartfelt condolences with happier thoughts and positive vibes to you all. And I'm sure that Ray will keep you in his prayers.
Absolutely. You know, he had a plumbing and a heating and air conditioning company as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mike's been a mover and a shaker in Winston-Salem for a while. But at the same time, still a guy that tends to be more behind the scenes.
Yeah. Very instrumental in a lot of things that are going on. So.
It's a true loss to our community.
Absolutely. You will be missed. So, Delicios has announced that they have added DoorDash to their arsenal.
Yay!
I know a lot of people poo-poo on the delivery services, that they charge too much and other things like that. Well, someone has to pay the drivers. And I know that a few of people who either are or have been delivery service drivers, and it's not just driving around, it's a lot of pressure on these folks. Plus, it's convenient, and I'm sorry. I'm probably going to err on the side of convenience when it comes to, am I going to order from you or not? So if my convenience means I don't have to leave my house and someone will bring the food to me, look, I've still bought from you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if the delivery services are charging you too much, but they have to pay for that stuff somehow.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, insurance, because if it's like Uber, not only Uber Eats, but Uber itself, because I did that for a few weekends, they have to cover you under their insurance. And that's not cheap. And plus they have to pay the drivers, right? So that's, and the drivers aren't really supposed to accept tips outside of whatever's online. So people are still ordering from you. So stop complaining about the delivery services. That's my 2 cents.
What would be the podcast without at least 2 of your cents?
That's right. And generally there's about 7 or 8 cents on there. If I'm feeling spicy, it might be 11 cents.
And if you're feeling, ultra spicy, it might get up to $1.
It might. I've gone as high as $1.50 before.
That's when you went all in.
Yes, well, I was all in. Had to be dragged away.
$1.50, I'm all in.
I had to be dragged away from the microphone. Someone had to hit the stop button because I was yelling it from the back.
It's fair for people to get paid when they're working. It's not asking too much.
That's right. You want people to pay for your food, then you need to pay people to get it to them. Diamondback Grill is casual dining located in the heart of Buena Vista here in Winston-Salem. Diamondback Grill is a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant that sources most of its ingredients from local farmers, which means that the food is always fresh. They offer craft cocktails, an extensive beer and wine list, and an inviting atmosphere. Diamondback is involved with their community, and you can check out their themed nights like Prime Rib Friday and Burger Saturday, because those two are the ones that make me go, the most. Heck yeah, for all that. Just find out more by visiting diamondbackgrill.com and checking their social media as well. Cagney's Kitchen, a local chain, is about to add its 10th location.
My goodness, where's that going to be?
This one's in Walkertown. Apparently, it's been in the works for some time, like April of last year. But I'm sure that the uncertainty of this past year has led to a standstill of progress. I don't know when they're expected to open the new location, but they have started pushing forward again, and they started re-announcing it. So, I think within probably 6 months is when their target is. Now we'll see when that happens. And I'll keep an eye on their social media, and if I can get a chance to talk to them, I will. I'll report it here.
And you look at that, that's a local group that has been doing a really good job in the last 10 years or so of growing.
Oh, yeah.
Adding locations, taking over locations that others failed.
Right.
Or for whatever reason, it was time for them to leave the business, and Cagney's come in and said, well, we'll take the building and we'll do something new with it. If you're looking for the most gourmet food in town, you're not looking at Cagney's. But if you're looking for something that's just like, I need a solid breakfast or a solid lunch, even dinner, they're a great choice for that.
Yeah. They're always solid. Like you said, it's not gourmet, but it's always solid.
And at a reasonable price.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We the one here close to my house used to be Old Orchard Diner. And that
been there for years.
Yeah, it had been there for a long time, and the owners just wanted to retire. He wanted to go do other things, and he sold the building and business to the Cagney's. And the thing about Cagney's, I think it's owned by the same family, but it's like got general managers that are different. I think it's not like it's not necessarily a franchise as much as just individuals go and do their thing. Because not all Cagney's have all the same foods. Some of them have pizza ovens according to what they took over, right? And some of them have different items on their menu just because. So I think while it is family owned, it is given room to do what they want to. Within reason. I'm sure they wouldn't be able to just go, serve like horse meat or something and the family not go crazy over that. But
right. No evidence of anything like that.
Right.
The thing that I find the most telling is look at the parking lot.
It's always busy.
Especially like the one, I think it was probably one of the first ones that they have over there off Cloverdale near Baptist Hospital.
That was the first one.
You go in there at lunch, you expect you're going to wait a few minutes to have a chance to sit down.
Right.
Even pre-pandemic, they were always just slammed. And for breakfast, oh my gosh, forget it. Just be patient. Yeah. You'll get in eventually. You'll get a great seat, but it's going to take a little bit. And that says volumes that people keep coming back day after day after day after day.
Yep. And they were owned. I don't know if they're still the same family, but when I was in high school, I went to school with Maria Sklepanis, whose family owned that one, and that was the first one. And then it expanded from there.
They've done a really good job.
They have.
Hats off. Again, it's kind of those little, almost completely under the radar. It's not like they're trying to make some big splash. They tend to be more of a neighborhood kind of diner.
Yeah.
And they've done a really good job of remaining true to that.
I'll tell you the truth. Whenever we're sitting around thinking, well, where are we going to get food from? This is probably bad, but they never cross my mind. Until I drive by or look at my list. And I'm like,
you're like, Cagney's
is there. We have stopped there. I know we called and got called in an order from the one on Cloverdale, even though we have one closer to our house, because we were on that side of town. We're like, okay, we'll just get it and go home. I will say we should have probably just ordered it from the one close to our house and went there to get it, because it was a little cold by the time we got home, which was probably a 10, 15-minute drive, really, through traffic.
Yeah.
So it would have been only a 6-minute drive if we had just called the one from home. But that's okay. It wasn't their fault. It was ours. And but it was good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of my favorite places just to go get breakfast in town, because they do such a good job with it.
Yep. It's always, again, solid consistency. There is a sign in front of Mr. Barbecue that says opening soon, so they are getting closer. They have, the parking lot has been paved. It's been marked, so it shows you where the drive-through window is, because they now have a drive-through on this one. And
you're going to enjoy the drive-through window. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't have to get out. You can just swing in, grab that burger, and go.
Yeah, I really hated that they didn't have one whenever it was the old one, because I would have loved to have not gotten out of my car when it's raining to run in and grab something to go. But whatever. But they are getting ready to open. I have been calling. I have a phone number. I've been calling. Go straight to voicemail. I leave a voicemail, don't get anything back. I send a text, don't get anything back. I call the restaurant, and it just, thanks for calling Mr. Barbecue. So other than me stopping in and busting in and saying, where's the damn owners? I'm not getting any information. So I'm still watching and still keeping up with what's going on, though. I drive by it almost every day, so
if anybody out there has a contact with them,
well, I have the contact. It's just, yeah. If you have a contact, let them know that the man who ate the town wants to talk to them. I have numbers. I just have no connection.
we want to help promote their business.
Yeah.
I mean, those of us that have been in town long enough to remember we want them back open.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the day that we'll all be dancing out in the parking lot going, yay, we get to come back to Mr. Barbecue. So, yeah, anybody can help us out. let us know.
Yes, please. On Friday, this past Friday, I got to hang out with Chef Brian Duffy from TV's Bar Rescue as we tried a menu reshuffle at Quiet Pint.
Nice.
Chef Duffy and Quiet Pint owner Dave Hillman are good friends, and they developed the menus for Quiet Pint in the beginning and Uncle Buzzy's, and unfortunately for all of us, Uncle Buzzy's is no longer here, and that's just sad. But I was excited about the things coming from Quiet Pint. As we announced last year, Victor, the head chef, had passed away, and truthfully, from even Dave himself, they had never gotten fully back on track. They now have a new executive chef named Rudy, and I don't know his last name, but Duff and Dave are going through things to straighten things out. I really enjoyed the Alabama pink wings and what that...
Alabama pink wings?
Yeah, well, it's Alabama white. You heard of Alabama white barbecue sauce?
Yeah.
Well, it's like that, but less racist sounding. So Chef Duffy developed it in one of his Pennsylvania restaurants, and he said he loves Alabama white sauce, but he just thinks it sounds racist. So he decided he called it the Alabama Rosé. And for this, he just called it the Alabama white or Alabama pink. And Alabama white is basically a mayo and horseradish based barbecue sauce that started in Decatur, Alabama. So that wing was very good. The other wings were good too, but I really, really liked, like there was a tikka masala one, there was a Southwest barbecue one, there was, not Southwest, but Tex-Mex, there was a couple more. I don't even remember what. I just remember that Alabama pink was really, really good. They have moved their burgers to be smash burgers, which Stephen will be happy to hear that. And of course, they had a good bit of burgers on the menu, but they're going to trim it down to just 2. One being just a burger the way it is, but then one's a build your own, because that was basically the way that everybody was ordering it anyway. So they had a lot of stuff on the menu that people weren't going through. I did enjoy the horsey beef, which is basically a roast beef. It's not roast beef, but like a Philly, but not Philly. It's just that kind of steak that's chopped up and it's done on a bun with a house-made horseradish sauce, a couple of pickles. It's really good. And then they had a salmon wrap, and I really liked the salmon wrap, but I would have rather have had tuna, but tuna is more expensive than salmon. Their take on a Cuban was good too, but it doesn't compare to mojitos. And also last week I mentioned West Tempoki has unveiled a new menu, and it features a lot of healthy options. It did before, but now even more like salads and things like that too. So people who are watching what they eat, like me, West Tempoki has improved their options, but Quiet Pint is improving theirs as well. It was really fun hanging out with Chef Duffy and Dave. And speaking of mojito, Cuban and Latin inspired dishes from a fantastic family, that's Michael and Michelle Mion, from brilliant ceviche, empanadas, and street corn to Cubano sandwiches, steak sandwiches. They have fried Cuban fried chicken. They have ropa vieja. They have the vaca frita. They have the mojito burger. They have a lot of things there, and beer, wine, classic Cuban cocktails like the Cuban. The Cuba Libre, the Sebastian, the traditional mojito, and they have all your Latino-inspired cravings ready for you. They do reservations, they do takeout. They have a rather large outdoor patio and do deliveries to surrounding businesses like Fiddlin' Fish, Broad Branch Distillery, Wise Men Brewing. Check them out on their Facebook page and at Mojito Latin Soul Food. I don't know exactly what's going on over at Roar. There's, I believe, this is what I've heard. Chef Kevin, who was on the show a couple of weeks back, who was going to be in charge of the sandwich shop and the desserts and over the Est, has pulled out.
Ooh.
And I don't know what's happening with his concepts. I mean, Est is going to happen. That was one of the main restaurants in there. So someone else, I guess, is going to take that over. But I got a confirmation because, I had reservations every Friday at 7:30.
Yeah.
I got an email today that said that my reservation had been canceled. So, and I think this was the week it was supposed to have been his sandwich concept. So I'm assuming they have not figured out what they're going to do with that part yet. But I did go to the last Monday to the Joey Carell pop-up, which is basically, they call it American street food. It was basically burgers and fries. And that's okay because the burger that I had was fantastic. The fries, I'm not supposed to have a lot of fries, but that didn't stop me from having them. I can have some. I just have to be more mindful of what I do afterwards. So, yeah, I walked the next day 10,000 steps to be
Wow, good job.
Yeah, so I was on it. So the burgers, well, let's start with the fries. We had these street fries, the Palo Alto garlic fries, which were very crispy fries that were tossed in extra virgin olive oil, chopped garlic, salt, and parsley, served with a ketchup and a jalapeno and cilantro ranch.
Ooh, that's different.
Yeah. And I told Stephanie that even though I'm 50 years old, a professional food journalist, and even, just grown up, I'm not afraid to admit that I still love ketchup.
I like it too. I'm right there with you.
I'm not Patrick Mahomes crazy about ketchup, but I am into some ketchup.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to have a swig of beverage. The burgers, I had the spicy pig burger, which this lovely premium patty with applewood bacon, jalapeno bacon, bacon mayo, shredded lettuce, grilled jalapenos, pepper jack cheese. So you might think that this burger would have a kick, right? With jalapeno and jalapeno and jalapeno. Well, this burger kicked with both feet. It was spicy, but you could taste all the flavors, and it was so good. And I told Joseph that he had a winner with that one. That was really, really good. And Stephanie had the cheesy Western burger, which there's a couple of places in town that have a cheesy Western burger, but this was a plump patty, cheddar cheese, tangy barbecue sauce, fried onion strings, sauteed peppers. And it was tangy because of the barbecue sauce, smoky because of the peppers and the onions. It was juicy, it was plentiful, and had a lot of flavor in the burger. So I was happy with that one too. The onion strings could have been more crispy. They were basically just sauteed onions that hadn't crisped up yet, but flavors were still fantastic. I liked it a lot. So that's what, and because it was burgers and I didn't have any of the mixed drinks, I had beer, and I had a local meaning Salisbury New Serum Blood Orange lager that I had with my burger and fries.
I'd had that. Was it any good?
It was fantastic. I've loved everything that I've had from New Serum, even their IPA, and I'm not a big IPA fan. But they do.
I'm not a fan of that myself.
They do solid beer down there. So good. I have no emails from Taylor, so I'm going to assume she's not coming. And we're going to move on to the holidays. But before we do that, we talk about Washington Perk Provision Company, which is located at 301 West 4th Street. You find a little bit of everything at the Perk, a chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go, local fruits and veggies, meat and dairy, Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's Custard, which they own, a wall of beer and wine, and more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk. Or if you're on Instagram, which most people are, it's Washington Perk _DTWS.
Didn't know that they owned Wolfie's Custard.
Yeah, they own that. They bought it out. I mean, someone else owned it before, and they started selling it and just bought it whenever the owners decided to move on.
Did not realize that they had actually taken over the company. That's cool.
Yep. So today is the 15th of February. It is President's Day, which is always observed on the third Monday of February. So it's basically Washington's birthday, but Lincoln's birthday is not far behind, so they just call it President's Day. It's also, for whatever reason, National Gumdrop Day.
We think presidents and we go, oh, goody, gumdrops.
Yes, that's what I was thinking when I wrote it.
You know, I have to tell you this just quickly. Back when I was in high school, I was in a choral group, and the guy that was our instructor, he refused to cuss. Just wouldn't. But you could tell there were times he'd get really mad, and he'd get really mad at us because, you know, we were teenagers. We'd goof off during this whole time we're supposed to be practicing these, you know, great songs.
Yeah.
And one day we were particularly rowdy. I don't know why. He's pounding his podium going, be quiet, gumdrops, gumdrops. What? That's you cussing? Is you going to yell gumdrops? Oh, we were all laughing even more. He lost even more control.
Face was red.
Poor guy. Oh, veins popping out, spitting. Yeah, his bright red face. Gumdrops.
That's hilarious.
Just cuss at us, you know. Seriously, we'd much rather.
Yeah, we would respect you more if you actually cursed.
In this case, oddly enough, yeah, I think we would have. And we might have actually shut up if he really cussed at us, but he didn't. Never did.
Yeah. Well, good for him, though.
Yeah. I appreciate that he held that line.
Yeah, because I'm sure you guys were assholes.
We were. Yeah. I mean, you got a bunch of teenagers in the room. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, we did that too. You know, I was also in chorus, and I didn't do this, but I was in there. You know, this was 86, 87, all the way through 89, and my choral teacher, one of my favorite teachers ever. I was teacher's pet, of course, but a lot of people, because they thought chorus was just going to be singing and goofing off, and that's not what it is. And she had at the time a little weight problem, and her last name was Dodson. So there were a lot of like upperclassmen, like juniors and seniors in this class with me. I think they were seniors. One's name was John. I remember saying this, and he was an African American kid, and she was not. And she walked in one day and got onto him something. He said, "I'm sorry, Heavy D." and we were all like, gasp. And she goes, "Out, get out." He came back the next day, and I guess they had talked afterward. But yeah, Heavy D.
Yeah, that might not have gone over so well.
No. Also had a guy that was in the class with me. We had a professor whose last name was Bernhardt, and Dr. Bernhardt, and she was rickety and old and all that. And she was always this old redheaded woman, and she was just curmudgeon-y and stuff. And one day, one of the kids, she got onto this and for turn around and shut up. He said, "I'm sorry, Dr. Heartburn." And yeah, everybody laughed at that too. And she got, because she was curmudgeon-y, but always like backward. So she didn't know how to handle stuff like that. But she had been teaching for 50 years at this point. And you think she would have learned how to deal with it, but
yeah, by now you would have thought.
Yeah.
You've had 50 years of practice to get used to kids.
Yeah. So on the 15th in 1758, Benjamin Jackson advertised mustard for sale for the first time in America. This advertisement was in the Philadelphia Chronicle and claimed that he was the first and only manufacturer of mustard in America. Cornered the market on mustard.
Interesting that you got to think there's somebody else, somebody somewhere was making mustard.
Yeah. Maybe not the prepared mustard. They have mustard powder and all that stuff, but maybe not prepared mustard. Who knows? In 1882, the first shipment of frozen meat from Port Chalmers, New Zealand, left for Britain aboard the SS Dunedin of the Albion line. I don't know how long it took to get there. I'm assuming it was a couple of months from New Zealand all the way to UK.
Got to figure, yeah.
I hope they kept a lot of ice on there. How do you keep it frozen that long?
Without modern refrigeration techniques.
Right.
Yeah. Don't know.
In 1903, on the 15th, the first teddy bear was introduced by Morris and Rose Michtom, Russian immigrants and owners of a toy novelty store in Brooklyn, inspired by a cartoon in the Washington Post in which Teddy Roosevelt decided to spare the life of a bear cub orphaned during a 1902 bear hunt in Mississippi. She made a toy bear and displayed it as Teddy's bear in the shop window, and the bear quickly proved enormously popular with the public. Makes sense.
Oh, interesting. That's how that all started.
Yep. And this seems like this would be farther back, but in 1965 on the 15th, Canada adopted its new red and white flag with the red maple leaf in the center.
I would have thought that was a lot further back.
Me too, but it was only, 65? That's 56 years ago?
Yeah.
1971, Britain switches from the 12 shilling currency system to the decimal system on this day. On the 16th, it's Shrove Tuesday. It can be either in February or March. It's also known as Fat Tuesday, or for those who are fashionably French, would be Mardi Gras.
Yes.
Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, and it begins 6 weeks of fasting for Christians leading up to Easter. I'm supposing that's Lent, right?
That is correct. That is the Lent season that begins with Ash Wednesday.
Right.
In Easter.
Right. For Lent, every year I give up Lent. on the 16th, it is... because it's the last day that you can eat like this, it's International Pancake Day, which is always Shrove Tuesday. And conveniently enough, it's IHOP's Restaurant National Pancake Day, which is always Shrove Tuesday. It's a free stack of pancakes, which is an annual charity fundraising event, so it happens every time like that. It's a Paxki Day, which is Shrove Tuesday. It's a day to enjoy these rich, sugar-coated Polish pre-Lenten pastries. I'm sure Stephen knows what it is. Paxki. P-A-C-Z-K-I.
I'm not familiar with that one.
I'm not either. It's a dessert, it sounds like. On the 16th...
I'm open to try it.
Yeah, me too. On the 16th of 1968, Haley'sville, Alabama became the first U.S. telephone system to use 911 as the universal number for emergency services. Someone says, "What's the number for 911?" Well,
let me look that up for you. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Someone call me a taxi. You're a taxi. On the 16th in 2011, the bookstore chain Borders filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And I don't know what kind of protection they got, but they're no longer around.
Yeah. Kind of sad.
Yeah. 17th. I actually prefer Barnes & Noble over Borders. Barnes & Noble seemed a little more, I don't know. Borders seemed a little loose and I won't say hippie, but just hip. We'll go with that. And Barnes & Noble seemed a little more refined. Not stuffy necessarily. I've never felt like they were stuffy. It's just they were a little more America's bookseller, and Borders was, hey, come have fun and hang out and bring your friends and cut up. We don't care. That's just how I've always seen it. The 17th is National Cafe au lait Day. That's
Olé!
Olé! Coffee with milk, basically. It's National Cabbage Day. In 1863, on the 17th, the International Red Cross was founded in Geneva, Switzerland. In 1876, canned sardines went on sale in the U.S. for the first time. They were packed in oil. Some sources say it was 1873 instead of 1876. In 2002, new regulations go into effect requiring German pig farmers to spend at least 20 seconds every day with each pig. 10 seconds in the morning, 10 seconds in the afternoon. No word about what regulations there might be for a time with German cows, sheep, chickens, and other farm animals. But with pigs, because we have to have happy sausage, right? And happy bacon.
Happy bacon, yep.
Happy ham.
Interesting that there's no requirement to have that same amount of time with, your family, your children, people in your neighborhood, people in general. But no, you must spend at least 20 seconds per pig.
Per pig. Now, I want to know who's regulating that.
Right.
Sir, that was only 7.5 seconds.
18 seconds.
Yeah, that was 7.5 seconds this morning.
Yeah.
You need to make up for it with 12.5 seconds today.
2 more scratch behind the ears and 3 more I love yous, okay? Penance.
Yeah. Instead of Hail Marys, we talk about I love yous and ear scratches.
Yeah.
On the 18th, it's National Drink Wine Day.
Yay!
Yes.
Needed an excuse.
Right. We did last night. Speaking of which, did you do anything for Valentine's Day?
We had a quiet evening here together.
Mm-hmm.
We had a bunch of stuff going on during the day, so it was kind of nice to just have a little quiet time. We did actually have a chance to go up to Sugar Mountain. Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law and his girlfriend, I think soon to be fiance, had rented a cabin up on Sugar Mountain. So we went up and spent a couple of days with them. And my mother-in-law came up. We had a great visit. In many ways, that was our celebration.
I get it. We traditionally do not do anything for Valentine's Day because I think it is just a way for De Beers, Hallmark, FTD, and Whitman's to fleece us because you get this stuff that costs 3 times as much on this whole week, last week leading up to it, than you would like today. Since yesterday is Valentine's Day, if I go buy a dozen roses today, it would be a third of the cost it was yesterday to get those.
Well, yeah.
Or just a third of it was if I'd gotten them on Thursday or any of that stuff.
I did learn where Valentine's Day actually came from. Valentine was a monk who lived back in 270 AD. And Claudius was emperor at Rome, and he didn't have enough men who were joining up to be a part of his army. So he banned marriages and engagements. And Valentine continued to marry people in opposition to the ban. And when Claudius found out about it, he had Valentine beaten and beheaded on February 14th, 270. And that's why we continue to celebrate Valentine's Day.
And
it was actually a martyrdom that happened.
And it used to not even be Valentine's that was represented that way. It was St. Gregory that used to be it, and it was March 12th. And Stephanie told me the story about that yesterday, but then they moved it to Valentine. This is Gregory of the Gregorian chants and the Gregorian calendar and all that stuff, which February the 12th is, because that's the day he died. That was that's Stephanie's birthday, so that's why she.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, I like that. So, where am I at here? Oh, it's also. To finish my story, we didn't do much of anything yesterday. We watched The Crown. We're binging that one, and I made. She got fillets, and I made 2 fillets and this quinoa corn spinach mixture. And she had to go to see her mom, and she came back, and I had 2 candles and some Ella Fitzgerald playing on the stereo. It's her favorite jazz. And we don't celebrate Valentine's Day per se, but we decided it was a good time to have a romantic dinner together. so that's what we did.
Yeah, I appreciate that in y'all's relationship, it's not, we don't need to wait until Valentine's Day. We love each other every day.
Right. Every day is Valentine's Day for us. It's also on the 18th. You remember on the 1st of February when I said it was eat ice cream?
Yes.
It was ice cream for breakfast day. Then I said on the 18th it was eat ice cream for breakfast day, which it is. Mm-hmm. And the reason it is eat ice cream for breakfast day is to honor all children who have fought or are fighting a battle with cancer. So it is a day of honoring those who are fighting or have fought that fight. It's also
now I think we can all get behind that.
Oh yeah, plus ice cream.
Plus ice cream, yeah.
It's also crab stuffed flounder day. I can go with that as long as it's not that stuff that they make crab cakes out of, because I think I don't like crab cakes, but if it's real crab that's stuffed into a flounder, I'm good with that.
Maybe our folks over at Diamondback would did something like that.
They might.
We're changing your menus, guys. Hope you don't mind.
we're adding stuff that may or may not be there, but we think you would do it well.
Yeah.
In 1885, on the 18th, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain was published for the first time. In 1930, at the St. Louis International Air Exposition, a Guernsey cow named Elm Farm Ollie became the first cow to fly in an airplane and the first cow to be milked while flying.
All the distinctions earned.
Yeah.
Right.
Guess what I did, y'all? Moo.
Flying cows.
On the exact same day, in 1930, on the 18th, the planet Pluto was discovered by Clyde William Tombaugh at the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona. It was stripped of its planet designation in the mid-2000s and has since been granted dwarf planet status.
Or Pluto.
On
real identity crisis.
On our first trip away anywhere, which was Labor Day weekend 2010, Stephanie and I went to the beach, and we came back. We stopped at a record store in Greensboro next to UNCG. Mm-hmm. And they had this Sharpie poster or art hanging on the wall that had some kind of monster on it, alien monster type thing. But it says, Pluto is still a planet. So I bought that for her, and it hangs now in our. It was in our kitchen for a while, but it doesn't match our new paint color since we had to have that reconstructed last year, and so it's now hanging in our laundry room, which you can see from the kitchen. So it's still there.
Yay!
Let's see. In 2005, on the 18th, a ban on fox hunting with dogs became effective in England and Wales. No word on whether you can still do it in Scotland or Northern Ireland, but England and Wales say no. On the 19th, it's National Chocolate Mint Day.
Yeah. Chocolate anything day. Good day.
It's also National Tartar Sauce Day.
Now, why would you put chocolate and tartar sauce on the same day? Come on now.
Now, I like tartar sauce. And I like chocolate, but I don't want chocolate tartar sauce.
No. Never the twain shall meet unless it's in my belly.
Yeah. It's your dessert after eating fish sticks or something. On the 19th in 1847, the Donner Party is rescued after being snowbound in the Sierra Nevadas. Almost half the original 87 members died, and some of the survivors seem to be well fed considering the ordeal they just went through. Cannibalism itself is not a crime, and no charges were ever brought. So, there you go.
They came out with some new burger recipes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that cookbook never really took off.
Them's good eats. And take Chris and whatever herbs you can find around in the snow.
And just for a little extra flavor, get some of the fat from Bob and throw in there because, Chris is kind of lean. But it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
I'd say he's a good 80-20.
Oh, Lord. Straight down.
Yeah. Off the rails. This is the Less Desirables Network, right?
It is.
On the 19th in 1903, Tsingtao, China's first brewery, was founded by German settlers. Some say it was 1897, but I'm going with the 1903. In 1906, Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company, also known as the W.K. Kellogg Company, was founded by Will Keith Kellogg to manufacture breakfast cereals, cornflakes. Which was basically his brother's idea, but his brother didn't want to make it. I haven't gotten all the way through the whole episode, but the first episode of The Food That Built America features that story, along with others like the origin of Coke and Heinz ketchup. Also, the dark comedy The Road to Wellville, starring Matthew Broderick, Bridget Fonda, and Anthony Hopkins, was a fictional dramatization of that story. It's hard to find, but I enjoyed it when I saw it. There's nudity, so what's wrong with that? On the 19th in 1913, Cracker Jack begins to put prizes in each box.
Yep. They're always the cheapest little things, but man, didn't you just dig? I used to. I open that box, I go find that prize first.
I would throw the Cracker Jacks away. I just wanted the cheap ass toy it was in it. So, where's my magnifying glass? Where's my fake tattoos? That's what I want.
Yeah.
On the 19th in 1985, Cherry Coke was introduced. Actually, soda fountains actually had been making them for decades, but the actual packaged Cherry Coke was introduced right before in April when they changed their formula. On the 20th, it's National Cherry Pie Day. And in 1703, on the 20th, Mount Gay Estate, Barbados, began distilling rum. Mount Gay rum is the oldest existing brand of rum in the world.
Cool.
And
maybe we should get some free samples of that.
Yeah, I think so. Let's get some. And also in 1829, Yuengling Brewery in Pennsylvania opened. It is the oldest brewery still operating in the United States.
And they make some fine beer.
They do. I just wish their moral practices were a little bit better. They are along the same line as Hate Chicken.
Oh,
Yeah, but the beer is good. They're just not that good of people.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah. It's what Danielle says. There is no Yingling anything sold in Bull's Tavern because of that. In 1933, the U.S. Congress proposed the 21st Amendment to repeal prohibition. The amendment was ratified on the 5th of that year and became effective on the 15th of that year. Thank you for ending that ridiculous, noble experiment. It took them from
didn't work too well.
No, it took them from February all the way to December to approve it. Sad news for you, Ray. On the 20th in 2009, Hershey's, the largest U.S. candy maker, closed its candy factory in Reading, Pennsylvania. The factory produced, among other things, the Zagnut, York Peppermint Patty, and Fifth Avenue candy bars. Production was moved to their new factory in Monterrey, Mexico.
I was in mourning for about a month after that.
I don't blame you. You recovered, though?
Mostly.
Is it still a hole in your heart? A black spot in your heart?
Well, I put chocolate there, so I'm good.
That is dark chocolate. I see. That's that black spot in your heart.
There's an almond in there for good measure.
For good measure, right. Because Almond Joy has... Well, that's Peter Paul, not Hershey. Sorry. Never mind. On the 21st...
But, they do it. Hershey does a lot with almonds, and 40% of all the almonds in the world are actually going into chocolate.
Yeah.
If people listen to The Man Who Ate the Town, they would already know that. Just saying.
So the difference between the Hershey's with almonds and a Mr. Goodbar is Mr. Goodbar's peanuts, right?
Yes.
Okay. I prefer Mr. Goodbar because I prefer peanuts.
I like them both.
I do too, but I prefer peanuts. On the 21st, it's National Sticky Bun Day.
Oh yeah, the pastry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Letting that go. Just letting it go. Move on.
So in 1878, on the 21st, the first telephone directory is issued by the Direct Telephone Company in New Haven, Connecticut. It contained 50 names. I don't know.
Just a couple of pages.
If that is probably just a page, one-sided, one page. In 1931, on the 21st, Alka-Seltzer is introduced by in the U.S. by Miles Laboratories. It combined aspirin for relief of headaches, fevers, and body pain, and bicarbonate of soda to neutralize stomach acids and settle the stomach. I have a confession to make. I don't mind Alka-Seltzer at all.
I don't either. I
It's
don't sip it. I just
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. I remember one time I had the only one of 2 migraines I can ever remember having, and I was in West Virginia at my grandmother's house for Christmas. And I have a cousin who's a couple years younger than me. She has a degree in nursing, but she's got the highest degree you can go. The only thing that she can do higher is doctor. And she told me, she goes, "Here, take this." It was Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I don't really want to take it." She goes, "Trust me. I put that, plop, plop, fizz, fizz over our relief it is, and I sucked that stuff back really fast. Within 1 minute, my headache was completely gone. My stomach had settled.
Wow.
I was gone. I was good.
So the stomach was actually causing the overall headache.
The headache was, I think, causing queasiness.
Yeah.
And it settled all that. So
we keep Alka-Seltzer Plus here at the house because it is so effective.
Yeah. I have not had it but once since then, and that was at least 20 years ago. But I still remember the immediate release and relief that I had with that. So
yeah, it's good stuff.
It is good stuff. In 1989, on the 21st, the USDA approved Simple S, which is a low-calorie fat substitute, to which I say, fake food is not real food.
I've still got the fat.
Yeah.
No substitute for that. I've already got it.
Yeah. In 1994, on the 21st, Whirlpool began manufacturing a refrigerator that was significantly more efficient and did not use Freon, because Freon has been implicated in the destruction of ozone in the atmosphere. And I believe they're phasing Freon out anyway.
Yes.
So if Whirlpool could have only made Sears more efficient, that would have probably been a better thing. Because Whirlpool was a branded product of Sears. They owned that. So that's it for your holiday, your food holiday in history for this week. Special thanks to James Eagler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes. Try to keep in mind our pig friends and spend a little more time with them. Show them that we love them. Tell them that we love them. Yeah.
Just make sure of that.
Yeah.
James does make us laugh.
Yes, he does. A little chuckle there. The Man Who Ate the Town is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to The Less Desirables, The Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Beeswax, Vinyl, and more coming soon. Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all these podcasts and the latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com, or anywhere else you find podcasts. This is a reminder to all of our listeners, and is good practice, good advice, not just now since we're in this pandemic, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap and water for 20 seconds or more. And if you're trying to figure out how far is 20 seconds, well, just sing this song.
Sometimes when this place gets kind of empty, the sound of their breath fades with the lights. I think about the loveless fascination under the Milky Way tonight.
That's about 20 seconds. That song, Under the Milky Way, released on the Starfish album, was released 33 years ago today, 1988.
Who was that?
The Church.
The Church. I was trying to think of it. It's like I know I'm familiar with the song, but I couldn't remember the artist.
Yep, The Church. Great. The whole album is fantastic. It is, I'd say, top 50 albums for me all time. It was just really good. So keep an eye on my blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send an email to Tim or Leah or Ray at The Man Who Ate the Town. You can also contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who ate the Town, and on Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. And you can also leave a voicemail for the podcast, and we will play it on the air. You can call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422 NUM. Just leave a voicemail and we'll play it on the podcast. Like I said, 336-422-NUM 6862. Well, Ray, I think that's all I've got for this week. Hope you have a fantastic week. I have a busy week ahead, and I'm going to start it as soon as we're done here. So I've been working on it for the last week, but it's getting close to deadline. I got a project I got to get done, so I will do that starting in about 10 minutes.
We'll say T minus 10 minutes and counting.
That's right.
Tick, tick, tick.
Well, my name's Tim,
My name's Ray.
and we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading and thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.